You boys be quiet down there!
Welcome back to PC-98 Paradise, the series where we take a close look at classic games for the NEC PC-98, the most popular Japanese PC series of the early 1990s. Last time on PC-98 Paradise we looked at Metajo, not exactly a historically important game, but one of my all-time favorite titles on the PC-98. It was originally an indie or doujin game released by R-Force Software in 1995. But it got a major polishing up when they worked with software company Anjin for a 1996 commercial release. As a late-stage PC-98 title, it was a modest success for Anjin, and they worked together with R-Force again to release a sequel only 9 months later. And still several years after that, in the early 2000s, both commercial games were officially made available for free online. But today I'm going to show you the original physical release of the sequel. This one is easier to find than the first, in my experience, so I've actually owned this one for about 20 years, while I only recently obtained a physical copy of the first. The title of the sequel is Zai Metajo, a Japanese approximation of the Chinese pronunciation for this kanji, which means again. I don't know why they gave the game a Chinese-themed title, but there is this character on the cover who is supposed to be from China. Anyway, let's open it. Again, we have a black and white manual, which is quite thick this time. And while the first game was available on 8 floppy disks, either 5-inch or 3.5-inch, the second came on either 9 3.5-inch floppy disks or a single CD-ROM. The CD-ROM version is slightly preferable, with 587 additional voice samples for the story parts, which aren't in the floppy version, though the voice quality is the same. And the free version of the game available on the archived site here is the CD-ROM version. The installer is virtually identical to the one for the first game. This time though, instead of 2 BGMs, it only uses 1 throughout the entire installation, which is the game's main theme from the opening. The game took me a whopping 35 minutes to install with my particular CD-ROM drive, which uses the very old SCSI 1 standard. Oh well, I don't mind waiting. Once it's finished, let's also install the final update patch, available on the same site as the game. You don't want to install this partway through your adventure, or you'll become unable to load your previous saves, so better get it done right away. Someone commented on one of my videos recently that the difficult-looking installations are one thing stopping them from getting into PC-98. So I should really emphasize that if you do get into PC-98 emulation, you'll probably never have to install a game. I only go through the installation process in these videos to show what the experience would have been like for someone who bought the game back in the day. Nowadays, the hard drive images you can download for the Metajo games, for instance, are pre-installed. You just need to open them in an emulator to start the game. They've made it as easy as it could possibly be. Anyway, to start the game with the way I have it installed on my PC-98, I just have to start the tai.bat in the root directory of the hard drive. On the Anjin logo screen, we can see the game has been updated to the final version, 1.02, and you've got to check out the first part of this opening. I'm just going to subtitle it.
みんなが寝静まったら、おもちゃたちが自由に動き出すなんて、本気で信じていたあの頃、僕は電車がたまらなく好きだった。好きだった理由？それは、幼いながらも電車という乗り物に、言い切れない寂しさを感じていたからだ。電車は悲しい。彼らは生まれて死ぬまで決められたレールの上しか歩むことができない。もし電車が人間のように限りなく自由に道を選べるとしたら、一体どれだけ幸せだろう。
Once again, it's a quote from that same scholar as in the first game. He was supposed to be a real person in the game's world, and I'm actually pretty surprised to learn this world has trains, because I've definitely never seen a motor vehicle. Moving on to the rest of the opening.
Zai, it's a high-tech simulation game.
What did that say?
Zai, it's a high-tech simulation game.
Zai, it's a high-tech simulation game. No way, you're not fooling me. This game wasn't high-tech for 1996. The rest of the opening is voiced introductions for the main characters.
浅野ゆりか18歳情報部さんとゆりか招待の代表
Then we get some cool art and animation. This is nice to see since the first game contained hardly any artwork of the characters. Hey, this character has sais and another has nunchucks. What is this, the Ninja Turtles?
Hey, you were expecting maybe the Addams Family? Good one.
And by the way, this is supposed to be the main protagonist of the game fighting with Mayumi, the protagonist of the first game. So, spoilers, we're going to be fighting against the heroes of the first game in this one. And for the final shot of the opening, that sad music comes back on, and the text asks, why does she have such a sad face? I don't know, and I honestly don't really care yet at this point. Who is this supposed to be again? Oh, I know, is she a train? 'Cause I just learned that trains are sad. It's just like Turbo Teen, except she turns into a train, right? Joking aside, while the opening of the original was always short and fun to watch with its randomly generated battle animations, I'm glad that this time they made the opening skippable, cause it's a bit lengthy and it's the same every time. I also realized watching this that I've never actually played this game before in my life. I guess I never felt ready to try the second one before finishing the first, but now that I've finished the first one, let's change that. The main menu here has a new version of the same music from the first game. Most of the music is brand new, by the way, but there is some that's reused, like the Game Over theme, and there will also be a lot of old tracks used when we meet the characters from the first game later on. Once again, there's a tutorial, and the gameplay is exactly like the first. The tutorial does show some more advanced functions this time, like how to hold the left mouse button to make your characters and NPCs show mercy and save the experience for another character. I also kind of miss the coffee cup from the break icon from the first one. What is this, a pill? Anyway, let's get to the actual game. In this one, we take control of members of the Student Council at Metajo, the same school as in the first game. The Student Council acts like the police of this world, obtaining warrants and arresting members of extracurricular clubs. At the very beginning, our characters sneak into the headquarters of the Analog Record Club to obtain a list of customers from the club's bootleg record operation. It's really weird, by the way, that this game has actual classrooms and hallways in the backgrounds. I was under the impression that this school doesn't actually have either. Our main character is Yurika Asano, the sai-wielding leader of the team. And in the beginning, we also have Kaori, who is supposed to be kind of the ditzy character in this one. And then there's Yukiko, the brains of the trio, who has a strong moral compass, which is going to come into play a lot in this game. The early stages consist of several policing assignments that come from the trio's commanding officer in the student council, Masami Kakinoki, the sad girl from the opening, who can't turn into a train, by the way. Aww. For our second stage, we'll have a choice whether we want to investigate an illegal casino being operated by one of the school's clubs, or act as Masami's bodyguard while she attends a student council meeting. And then after completing either of those, we'll get another choice of assignments. You even get level ups after each assignment, in addition to the normal experience you get from killing enemies. There are a few new additions to the gameplay to be noted, such as status ailments and a pincer attack which allows two characters to surround an enemy and attack it twice, using up only one character's turn. Between the stages, we'll see the camp menu just like in the previous game. Plenty of new abilities have been added, and the menus have been tweaked a little, but it's basically the same, spending TEP to buy new abilities. It's only in these early parts of the game where you get a choice of which stage you want to play, and even within those stages there are additional choices that allow for even more alternate routes you can take. It wasn't long before I got to stage 12, where we first meet that Chinese girl named Quanten, whose name I'm not even going to attempt to spell. So she's supposed to be pretty tough, right? My characters seem to be afraid of her anyway. Should I fight her or not? Oh hell yes, she's going down. After some effort, I was able to take her out. So much for the game's ultimate weapon. We might as well just end this game right now. But of course she doesn't die, and this won't be the last we'll see of her. In the next stage, we're going undercover as Kaori, pretending to be interested in buying a cheat sheet for an upcoming test.
8.
But it's a setup, and Kaori is surrounded. We can just go ahead and get caught to play an alternate stage. Kaori is only supposed to be a distraction in this plan anyway. But screw that. No mercy. Everyone must die. I'll kill them all with Kaori alone. And no, it's not that I'm a sadistic psychopath. I just want the experience. The last one surrenders. That's right. You were a fool to think you could win. In the next stage, we further investigate the cheat sheet printing operation. We meet a girl in a jail cell who turns out to be Yuzuha, a member of one of the other teams on the student council, who our characters already kind of know. She joins the team to take down the printing operation for good in the next stage, and stays in the party for the remainder of the game. Masami's assignments to the party have caused them to do some morally questionable things already, and there was even a scene where the party acting alone decided to take out the bad guy after he already won his freedom in a trial. Yes, this school even has courts and lawyers. The party brutally kills him after he begs for his life. Sure, he was portrayed as evil for sure, so this is pretty morally gray, but you gotta wonder, are we the bad guys? Finally, we get to one of the game's long assignments. Masami says that the Astronomy Club, the heroes of the first game, have become too powerful and are plotting to impose their brand of justice on the entire school. There are even rumors of another coup d'etat being planned within their ranks. Our party's assignment is to go undercover as new recruits in the Astronomy Club. The party has reservations about this assignment. It's against school rules to investigate a club without a warrant. But can't you see how conflicted Masami is about her orders? It pains her heart to have to make these decisions. And don't you remember the opening? She's really sad. So we're going undercover investigating the heroes of the previous game. Now this is how you do a sequel. For this assignment, we'll not only be joined by Yuzuha, but also another girl from her team. Christina is the daughter of French parents who was born and raised in Kyoto. In her intro in the opening, she at first tells us her name while deliberately speaking with a foreign-sounding accent. And I thought, oh no, not another stereotypical gaijin character. If she was born and raised in Japan, she should just sound like a normal Japanese person. But then for the rest of her intro, and the entire game for that matter, she speaks in a perfect Kyoto accent. So joke's on me, I guess. I'll respectfully put my pitchfork down. So we're put through an initiation test to join the Astronomy Club, where we have to fight some ghouls and tie 3 headbands around crosses in a cemetery. The test is administered by Noriko from the first game, and we'll also see Yui and Takumi at the end. You'll notice the characters look a little different in this one, due to the different character designer. Of course, our party passes the test. In the next stage, during training, Takumi comes rushing in to tell us a rumor that spies have infiltrated the club. At first, our characters are accused, but some other spies accidentally out themselves instead. What? Spies in the Astronomy Club? We can't have that. You guys are going down. They find the spies' secret passage and follow it into a cave where we confront their allies. Turns out the spies were from the Ghost Club. Paranormal Club? Whatever, Ghost Club. These are the same folks who turned out to be behind the casino and cheat sheet printing operation from earlier, by the way. Sympathizers with the leader of the biology club who we killed at the end of the first game. We take them out and chase their leaders out of the cave and over a bridge where unfortunately they get away. But that's not gonna stop us from killing every last one of their allies left behind. So in the next stage, we hack into the Astronomy Club's computers. Wait, this world has computers? And we learn that the Astronomy Club is building a super cannon. Why, that treacherous Astronomy Club. I knew they were up to no good. In the next scene, we go to blow it up. The cannon looks just like a telescope. Disguising their secret weapon as a telescope. You think I'm falling for that? I've never seen this Astronomy Club show any actual interest in astronomy. Here's what I think of your so-called telescope. In the next stage, we have the theme from the original Metajo playing in the background as we see Mayumi for the first time in the throne room of the club headquarters with Yui and Takumi. Just then, this Astronomy Club girl here, who wasn't in the first game, comes marching in with an army to permanently relieve Mayumi of her command. trying to carry out a coup against the astronomy club. Not exactly original. You can't just pretend to be part of the club and take it down from the inside. We make quick work of the rebels, and Mayumi carries out the only suitable punishment for their leader, death. I have no idea where to put a spoiler warning in this video, but I guess I'll put one here. In the next stage, we're finally back at the student council, reporting to Masami, where we're now given our final assignment for the game. Help the Ghost Club take down the Astronomy Club? But wait, Masami, you can't be serious. These are the bad guys. You want us to work together with people who were spying on the Astronomy Club from the inside? Come on, we have morals here. But it's the only way to protect Metajo and keep the school peaceful. Can't you see how much pain Masami is in? Okay, we'll work together with the Ghost Club, but that doesn't mean we like them. Masami's secretary, Haruka, also joins the party at this point as a permanent member. As a trust-building exercise, the first stage with the Ghost Club is a game of Capture the Flag. This is an interesting game variation where we can win by either bringing the enemy flag back to our side, or by just defeating all of them. You can probably guess which method I chose. And for another change of pace, the next stage is an auction. That's right, an auction. The Ghost Club wants us to win a small piece of land, from which they can build a tunnel into Astronomy Club territory. Didn't you guys try that already? So at the auction, we have the option to use the money we got from the Ghost Club to buy some other stuff too. But be careful, if you use up too much of the money, you won't have enough when the bidding for the land begins at the end. After a few tries, I was able to obtain both the land and a secret technique that I decided to assign to Yurika. And even though we got the land like we were supposed to, the Ghost Club ends up not using it, and abandoning their plan to build another tunnel to the Astronomy Club. Wah. So the Ghost Club's new plan is to build their own super cannon, but first we need to steal parts from the Astronomy Club to build it. We'll need to get through their forces, as well as Noriko, in order to get the parts. Noriko dies in either this stage or the next one if you don't kill her here. There doesn't seem to be any way for this hero from the first game to survive the second. So after we build the cannon, it's time for a full-on attack on the Astronomy Club. We blow a hole in their main headquarters, and in the end, we face Yui. Here it's possible to save Yui as long as you have a positive relationship with the Ghost Club members at this point, and you can convince them it's worth keeping her alive for information. But of course, in my first playthrough, I just killed her. Yes, all the heroes from my beloved first game must die. It's the only way to move on. So we return to the headquarters of the Ghost Club to find it completely destroyed by the Astronomy Club.
What did you think was gonna happen?
The two Ghost Club leaders are of course pissed, and they declare that heads are gonna roll. We help them take out all the remaining Astronomy Club members on the stage map. And next, the Astronomy Club takes even more action with an all-out attack on Masami's castle. Yes, it's literally referred to as her castle. And partway through the stage, Mayumi herself appears, along with Takumi. They finally ask why we attacked the Astronomy Club, and our characters respond that it's because the Astronomy Club is trying to take over Metajo. And Mayumi responds, no we're not, it's Masami who's trying to take over Metajo. And so our heroes retort with, but you were building a super cannon, to which Mayumi responds, super cannon? That really was just a new type of telescope we were building. We're a fricking Astronomy Club, remember? Yeah, right, that's exactly what she would say. You think I was born yesterday? My characters, for some reason, seem a little bit scared by the sheer number of Astronomy Club forces here, and we get the option to retreat to the inside of the castle. But why would I do that? I'm not gonna lose. Let's settle this right here. I take out all their forces and then Takumi, and of course I save Mayumi for last. As she dies, she asks, why? She was just fighting to bring peace to Metajo. And she asks, Metajo will be at peace someday, won't it? To which Yurika responds, yes it will, someday. She dies and that's it, game clear. So this is the first ending I got, but if you go back and choose to retreat into the castle, you get the true final stage of the game. Masami reveals her plan, which is to bring peace to Metajo by having the student council rule with an iron fist.
Sounds an awful lot like a dictatorship to me.
She also reveals her secret weapon, that Chinese girl from earlier. Meh, she isn't even very tough. So here we get a choice whether to entrust the future of Metajo to either Masami or Mayumi in order to get 2 more different endings to the game. If you side with Mayumi, it's revealed that Haruka and Chris were Masami's spies all along and were never really on your side. Though you can get at least Chris to betray Masami at this point if you've hit enough of the right flags. In my second playthrough, I even got a third choice, where Yurika sides with neither Masami nor Mayumi, and we kill everybody.
Die, die, everybody die.
Speaking of second playthroughs, the game of course has a New Game Plus, where you can even learn some brand new summon spells if you've seen enough endings. And for my second playthrough, I finally tried the higher difficulty mode, which was also in the first game, by the way. In this mode, you have to also worry about which direction your characters are facing, and getting attacked from behind or the sides means you have less chance to counterattack. It's actually not much harder, since your enemies have to deal with the same problem. I actually prefer the harder difficulty mode in both games. Try it. If you make different decisions, you basically get a whole different game for your second playthrough. This time I killed that stupid ghost club in the third last stage of the game, making for yet some more ending variations where they don't appear in the background graphics at all. The ghost club are now literal ghosts. The second part of the ending shows the final stats, kill counts, and a description of what happens to each character afterward, as in the first game. In addition to your 6 main characters, it also shows the 2 Ghost Club generals and Masami, which is a bit weird since none of these characters can earn TEP to learn new techniques, and Masami hardly joins the party at all in the game. The final part of the ending is the credits. The second game was mainly planned and designed again by Hirokazu Yokoyama and Hiromichi Terashima, and programmed by an almost identical staff. Koji Yokota's name doesn't appear at all in this one, but the other graphic designers are the same. The voices for Mayumi and Yui reprise their roles, but Noriko and Takumi's voices are noticeably different. The voice work is again some respectable work delivered by a cast of amateurs. The sound staff is exactly the same, and the music I would say is equal in quality to the first. I was constantly humming the game's main theme and the BGM it plays when you get your assignments, but there isn't any tune quite as memorable as the main battle theme from the first game. There is no English patch for the second game, not even a partial one. And as for ports, once again there's a Korean DOS version, and it's so terrible it just reuses music from the first game. And I have to apologize actually for missing a port in the first video. There was actually a Chinese DOS port of the first game made completely separately from the Korean DOS port, that even has better music and keeps the Japanese voices from the original. Unfortunately, there is no such Chinese DOS port of the second game though. For me, the original Metajo is an all-time PC-98 classic, so I'm biased. Though the sequel uses the same game engine, it's a really different game, which at first I didn't like since it takes a while before you get to any large battles. But the second has much more interesting and varied scenarios, and tons more replay value, requiring you to play through at least twice before you feel like you've experienced much of what the game has to offer. So in the end, I've got to give the edge to the sequel. The story blurs the lines between good and evil so effectively it's really quite beautiful. The train is meant to be a metaphor for the inevitability of war, which is the main theme of both Metajo games. But I think it also works as a metaphor for the game's progression, because while there are a ton of switch tracks your train can take along the way, it surprisingly always ends up at the same last 2 stations. Just the final passengers are all that differ. No matter who wins the war, we all lose. None of the endings feel truly satisfying or give me much hope for the future of Metajo, but that's really the only fitting end to this series. It's perfect. Thanks for watching this episode of PC-98 Paradise. As always, this episode was supported by these folks who got to see the video a few days earlier. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.